can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best or we can be the worst. We can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. As the music just instantly shut off, I didn't even pan down. I didn't really do anything to help the situation. Hold on, we gotta set this mic. Mike's been disconnected for a minute. You know, we've had a lot of things happen in the world. And we've also had a son of a bitch run his mouth on Facebook named Paul Clayton. Now, I don't know what, and I've noticed a few things on Facebook here recently. I've noticed a few damn things. And this Paul Clayton guy just won't stop. And I don't know if I got to go down there and whoop his ass in a race or something. I mean, I know I could beat him up and down any racetrack in any race car. I don't want to fight him or anything like that because I heard that he gets a little dirty. But I am not afraid of him on the racetrack, at least. But what is more damaging than a person, you know, running their mouth is to lie about what they're running. Obviously, back to dirty. And that brings me up to this. This is what happens a lot. This is why a lot of people dislike the Chaz. Because people, this is honestly the truth. People go out there and they don't watch the Chaz. They don't watch me. They don't listen to me. They don't do that. No. What happens is somebody heard what I said, and then they go and tell their buddies or their friends or their Facebook or their little Snapchat chat groups or their little Discords, their little holes in the wall, and then they say, the Chaz said this. No matter what I actually meant, the Chaz said this about you. The Chaz said this, the Chaz said that, the Chaz said this. They don't, and the person that they're trying to instigate and get mad, they ain't even giving no context, giving no information, giving no foundation to the statements that were made. And that's what happens. That's why I get hated on, I think. That's why, from the things I've been seeing and doing and being around, that seems to be the main reason some people get up. They don't even watch it. They don't even have to watch it. And people like this Paul Clayton do what he does right here. I'm about to talk about it. And a bunch of people do this, I believe. And people who haven't even watched me to give me the time of day to understand what I'm even talking about have already discarded me based on the false advertisement, the defamation on a social platform. They don't even give me the damn time of day. This is exactly how the Larson-ites have worked for years. Pick one sentence, ignore the entire story. Judge the book by its cover, oh no, but on its first fucking page. And that's a big problem too, isn't it, in society? We don't even have to read the book anymore. We don't even judge books by their cover. We judge them by the first damn page. And if that first page is something we don't like, then screw the damn story. I already know all about it, you cocky, arrogant pieces of shit. And that's fine. That's fine. But Paul Clayton yesterday goes onto his damn Facebook because of the comments and the things I was talking about, which was real. And said, Chaz just compared RTJ to Tim Tebow. Now, if you go and read that, what do you just see? What do you comprehend when you hear, or you're scrolling your Facebook, and you may have heard of this Chaz guy one way or another? Whether you saw his ass on the big screens at Bristol or whatever, you know, online, the millions and millions of views that I've got over the last 5-6 years. I think it's like 36, 37 million views between Facebook and YouTube. And hell, I got 10 million, hell, 4 million this week on TikTok. And I don't even posted the damn thing. I think TikTok's destroying the world. Our short attention spans are the damn problem at the end of the day. And with this short attention span, we see how news and everything rotates. One week it's Titanic, one week it's aliens, one week it's that, Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. They do it like they're not pushing you away from the short attention span way of teaching. They're indulging into it because they're out there to make that money. But the mind is controlled by the money. You don't need frequency to do that. You just control them with manipulation. But regardless, this type of shit right here is the TikTok of the defamation way of doing things. The TikTok message says Chaz compared RTJ to Tim Tebow. Now, why the hell did I say that? No one knows. People scrolling, these 8 little idiots, the 17 commenters of idiocracy, they don't know. They just guess that I must have just degraded RTJ, somebody who recently I just defended pretty extraordinarily. Now I have switched to degrading RTJ. So not only did the people I may have appeased when I was defending RTJ, now they hate me. Even those people who may have liked me, now they hate me because I'm comparing their favorite driver to Tim Tebow. Although the context of the situation is that I was saying that Scott Bloomquist, in his evaluation of Ricky Thornton Jr., made it seem like he believes Ricky Thornton Jr. is a good driver like a Tim Tebow. He can throw the football, but he's not on that elite level. And that his race car is making a Tim Tebow win the Super Bowl in the dirt late model world. And that was the context that, and anyone who thinks about it, listens to that, understands what I'm saying there. That's pretty fair to say what Scott Bloomquist was saying. And then you have even another sumbitch come in here and back it up named John Horn. You have John Horn come on here to back it up. The CNN continues. He also said Davenport has accused him of cheating, which clearly did not happen. And if it did, there are only 2 people in the world who could verify it to be a fact. Although we all heard with our minds of our own, we all heard that Scott Bloomquist was on the damn phone with Jonathan Davenport. And everybody who has a free-thinking mind could kind of see that they were saying that Ricky Thornton Jr. was doing something a little freaky or tricky or new and unknown, because there's no damn way that Tim Tebow is waxing Jonathan Davenport in the late model world's ass this year. That's what they don't believe, that Ricky Thornton Jr. could be doing this legally, is what it sounded like to most normal people who have a brain and think and have ears and have dealt with similar situations or just seeing the forest before the fucking trees. I don't need these guys to come out and tell me, yeah, that's what we were saying, to have a brain to think and understand what I am seeing in the foreground of the self. So anyway, this is a situation that happens all the time, and I just wanted to address it because these are the type of people who have smeared the Chaz for years, taken what I've said in one sentence, tried to spin it into another narrative because they dislike me, or they're a Larsonite, probably a closet-ass Larsonite right here. Hell, even Kyle in his own right is somewhat like this son of a bitch. But at the end of the day, this is what's wrong with a lot of societies. Misrepresenting what somebody else said, but it's all for the instigation of the lie. At least when I get on here, I say some stuff that I think, I believe. Anytime I reference what I hear from someone else, I never say who exactly has told me. There's a lot of stuff that I know that I don't say because I'm protecting my person who told me, and I don't want them to be in trouble with that guy and that guy. So I keep the, hey, he said this out pretty much all the time when it comes to what I do. I don't really sit here and look to find something that, oh, well, blah, blah, blah last week told me blah, blah, blah. Even when I hear about the 55 races and the All-Stars and high limit signing and it's already all done, I don't freaking tell you who told me that, and I don't tell you who I heard it from. But I heard it. It's what I think, it's what I believe, and it's, like I said yesterday as well, facts are boring. Speculation is exciting. But this shit right here ain't no speculation. This is what has come out of my mouth that they are relaying to the world. Now, as far as this RTJ, Tim Tebow, Davenport accusing him of cheating, And even his fans were like, yeah, well, Davenport, he has a right to call him a cheater because Ricky Thornton Jr. failed the droop rule at Lucas Oil. And, well, just trying to justify what was said. And it's just not right. It's just not right. I think that people are somewhat blind to how good Ricky Thornton Jr. is. And I honestly think, like I said before, Ricky Thornton Jr.'s are out there in an abundance of an amount. Because just like how some of these dirt racers say, I never made it to NASCAR because I didn't have the money, even though some of these dirt racers could probably kick NASCAR drivers' ass in a equal fair opportunity, even in a cup car if you give them a little time to learn how to do it. I mean, David Gravel popped out of nowhere and finished 10th with no practice in a truck race, his first try, I believe. So we got talent over here, but just how people in the upper echelons of dirt are saying that about a potential NASCAR career, there are hundreds of Ricky Thornton Jr.'s in lower divisions, like modifieds and stock cars and stuff like that, and even micros and 305 sprint cars, who don't have the abundance of money to go to super late model or 410 sprint car racing, but they have that elite level talent. It's the same concept from top tier dirt racers to NASCAR. It's the affordability to not be able to do that. It's the same concept when it comes to the talent that could be in these more economic divisions that regular people can afford. They just don't have the monetary ability to be a national dirt racing star. And the reason I like a Ricky Thornton Jr.'s career so damn much is that he went from there. He raced his way out of there and built a career in those divisions and actually did the dirt career the right way. If there was an iconic way of becoming a super late model star, to me, it ain't 12 years old in a fucking 604. To me, it's 12 years old and something you can afford. You get to 25, you're able to maybe afford a street stock or a modified. Then you start kicking ass with what you can afford. Then you get promoted, you get picked up, you level up based on your abilities on the racetrack. Although racing, we don't really have much merit. Winning and performing well ain't really what moves you up. It's about the monetary ability of yourself. And for some reason, if you get to 25 to 30 years old and you finally can afford a $100,000 racing operation, apparently you're too damn old. Although I would say, racing world, I think 16 in a real race car is too damn young. I don't think kids should be allowed to be racing. I say, and it really diminished in dirt racing. I know you have floundered on this 16-year-old winning in our superstar race cars, but that ain't nothing but diminishing the respect of the vehicle. When a kid, I'm telling you right now, after working in track management and promotion and years upon years studying the media entities in the world and how it operates, I'm telling you right now, all you damn track promoters and racers, when you got grown adults sitting in your damn grandstand, say it's their first time ever to the racetrack, and the main event, the super, the 604, whatever your main event is, your 305, your IMCA modified, whatever you're trying to promote is worthwhile and worth spending money on, and these people get into your grandstand and they see a damn 12 to 16-year-old kid pop out of that race car, instantly the respect for that vehicle is gone. That is now viewed as a kid vehicle or an elementary level of racing in America. And that's the manipulation of that, in my opinion. 5, 14, 18. All of a sudden, your midgets, your sprint cars are where 14-year-olds learn how to drive. They're not where people go and make a career and are stars in NFL level. This is the beginning. This is the grassroots. You're not the house. And you never will be as long as that's your projection. But regardless, that's why I am such a fan of what Ricky Thornton Jr. has been doing. I saw somebody say, who saw that he would be winning so much this year? If you have paid attention to Ricky Thornton Jr.'s racing career, you would know that this is happening, and that it's going to happen. I'm just saying, there's some others out there. And obviously, I've been somewhat of a Jerry Maguire agent of hooking drivers up and projecting drivers and talent, and I've done a pretty damn good job over the last couple of years of predicting not only talent but races as well. And I'll tell you what, if I was going to grab a guy from a lower division right now and give him a national shot who could potentially do what a RTJ is doing, I mean, the closest thing that I've seen here in at least Iowa in the IMCA ranks would be a guy like Dallin Murdy. I literally watched Dallin Murdy, who's dominated the IMCA stock car division, one of the most competitive divisions in the United States of America. I watched him get into a late model first night out and outrun Ryan Gustin at Independence Motor Speedway a couple years ago. Didn't win the race. I think he had a mechanical issue late, but like first night in the car, outrunning a national winner in Gustin. And I believe Tyler Bruning was there. A couple other national names was there, and he was outrunning them. So the talent that a Ricky Thornton Jr. has to be able to beat Davenport and to beat Owens or Overton, sorry about that, or Moran or any Hudson O'Neill, name them all, they're out there. They just don't have the money to get to that next level. Similarly to the dirt stars going to NASCAR and their projections. But anyway, I do want to get off of this topic. I just had to just give him his credit. Give him his credit. You want to make a post, Paul? Well, there's your damn credit. Now, the other thing, it's funny, I talk about racing, I feel like racing is this, hold on. We got to put her on the screen. Oh, there she is. Tay. Hold on. It's actually kind of awesome that Taylor Swift is on the screen as I'm going to bring this subject up. Because I believe that racing is kind of like Taylor Swift. And I think that possibly an issue as to why I'm on here every day fighting for it. Racing is broken. Okay? There's a lot of things wrong with racing. Merit, all this stuff we could talk about, promotion, streaming battles, all this stuff, high limit, outlaws. So much baggage comes with racing. And I've been thinking about wanting to talk about football and all this other stuff. And you think about something like a football. There ain't one damn player on the field that ain't there because he's the damn best player. There's plenty of drivers in their position not because of that. That's the biggest problem with the sport. But football and these other sports, they don't have no problems. They're normal. They don't have no baggage. You can only talk about the good things in football or the stats or the game of football or what happened in the game because there ain't all these other politics that are destroying it. The merit of the game is full. It ain't got no room for BS. If you don't perform, if you're not one of the damn best, you get cut. You don't just straggle around running mid-pack in football. Just because somebody likes you or some big sponsor wants to see you on the track. That's not how it works in football. There ain't nothing wrong with it. And that's why I say maybe it's an issue with me. I think they call it like Juliet syndrome or something like that. All of us guys, we kind of have it. We are halfway attracted to something that may be broken because we want to fix it. And I'm slowly, when I was thinking about it, and when I was thinking about this yesterday, I was like, man, is that what racing is for me? Am I only in it, loving it, saying it, doing it all because it's something that is severely broken that I want to fix? Is that what we're all doing, in a way? And then I was thinking about football, and it's like, it's not broken. Maybe, and I don't really have an allure or want to talk about football, but it's not Taylor Swift. It is put together. There is no issues in the merit. You can only talk positively or critically about gameplay or what happened on the track because that is where it matters, Whereas in this racing world, it's just everything else but the actual game. And then the game loses its merit and credibility due to the ways the players actually make their ways onto the field. Now, this was actually funny. Of course, Taylor Swift is on TV now in the football world. I'm on the football world because I have, I'm in Iowa now. You can legally do the sports bet, and I may do a gambling prediction every week. That would be pretty cool, maybe. I mean, made a decent amount of money yesterday. I'm a pretty good gambler. I'm pretty good at predictions, believe it or not. But this Taylor Swift deal has taken over, and some of you people are just hating on Tay-Tay. It's unbelievable. I thought she was older than Travis Kelce. Apparently, they're both 33 years old. I mean, it is interesting how once this all happens, the promotion of her tour is all over the TV screen, and then the Travis Kelce commercials are on the TV screen. But then once again, it's the TikTok. This will be old news very soon. It's just like this Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing is comparable to the Titanic thing or the alien thing in Vegas. This is the swiper of the week, is this Taylor Swift. Now, it's lasted more than that, and I think that's because of the hate, you know. And I don't understand why you right-wingers, which it seems to be right-wingers, are going after Taylor Swift. It reminds me of snowflakes literally melting. And I understand that was a phrase or a thought or a process made up by the right wing to describe the liberal side of the world when Donald Trump won. But hypocriticism seems to be running rampant in the world. So when things don't go your way or you see something you don't like and you're on Facebook crying about it, that's what you would call a snowflake and their tears falling. So maybe this is some interesting kind of like reverse psychology for Taylor Swift and everybody. But I did think this meme was funny. Why does your husband keep throwing to the other team and not Travis? Because Patrick Mahomes threw a couple of interceptions, and he also did not throw it to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce had 37 yards after the first 2 quarters. I had a very well-paying bet on a parlay bet, a mixed bet, and the only thing that didn't get closed off was the 75-plus receiving yards by Travis Kelce. So I feel Tay-Tay in this message. I was so damn pissed because I thought I had won. After the first quarter, it's 37 receiving. You're telling me that Travis Kelce can't get 40 receiving yards in 3 quarters? Come on now. Nope, he didn't. Unfortunate. So, Tay-Tay, I feel your damn pressure. But we have to talk about the other pressure on Sundays that occurs, and that's just this Ryan Blaney situation. NASCAR, the chase, very interesting. I had some skin in this game as well. I had Kyle Larson with a top 5 that obviously got destroyed. The bullshit that I don't want to say I'm a big Larson fan, but I am pulling for Larson and Bell when I watch Cup races. I mean, that's the only reason we're watching them, right? I mean, I don't really watch them. I watch the end, or if I got some skin, I'll see how it's going. But Kyle Larson's been getting screwed. I don't know if anybody's been watching. The Kyle Larson is been getting royally fucked in NASCAR recently. And the driving, the skills are all there. It's just something happens, and it ruins his whole day. Regardless, Ryan Blaney did win yesterday. The Final Four is going to be interesting. Kyle Larson could potentially be out. I think he's sitting 6th or 7th or something like that. But he was asked a question, and it was why doesn't Blaney do burnouts? And I thought this was a really good quotation. He said, well, Dale Inman told me the winner of the Kentucky Derby doesn't get off his horse and start beating the shit out of it. Now, I think I love that quote. I love that quote. I really don't get it either. It shows that he respects his vehicle. I'm sure Penske may have told him this because Penske's apparently a little bit trickly on his race cars. But Ryan Blaney winning yesterday at Talladega and saying he doesn't do burnouts because he doesn't want to beat the shit out of his car. And that's great. That's fine. That's amazing. Actually, really respect that. And I might be a Ryan Blaney fan after hearing that. That is actually I don't want to like him personally because, once again, nepotism monarchy might be why he's there. Blaney, obviously. But I do like that respectful comment. Now, before we get too far here, I did want to address this. Now, this is going to be about Tanner Holmes. And I got to think about this. I came on here to you people on the heels of an argument before Tanner Holmes debuted his outlaw career at Jackson after Huset's, after a subpar run. And I was optimistic about it. And the person I was arguing with was not optimistic about Tanner Holmes picking up this Shark Racing ride, the person believed or thought that other guys like Jake Bubacks or Garrett Williamsons or Chase or anyone, I don't know if Chase Randall was even in the hat, but other guys merit, back to what I've been talking about, merit-based performance on the track, deserved to be in this car besides Tanner Holmes. And Tanner Holmes came out at Jackson and slapped a lot of haters in the face. He did. I mean, I think it was quick time first night out. Ran extremely well. I mean, it looked good. And I came on here and said, ha, 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 ha. Not only to the person I was debating in his face, but all the haters of the Tanner Holmes situation. Look at what he can do. Y'all doubting what now? But the Tay-Tay Mahype for the Tanner Mahomes is not the same. He is not what we thought he was or could be. Now, is that rational to say? As Joe would say, yeah. I mean, he is new. He hasn't won a 410 sprint car race, and he was thrown into the deep end, the shark-infested waters, South Africa, with the aliens arriving encounter show on Netflix. It was another world for him. And initially looked really well, but since then, this combination has not panned out for extreme results on the racetrack. It's been a struggle, to say the least. Now, obviously, Port Royal's this weekend. I don't believe he's got laps there. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think I need to publicly apologize to Jovan Schriltz and admit that he was potentially correct about Tanner Holmes, and that Tanner Holmes could be a great driver. Maybe he needs to do a year of King of the West, and is definitely not outlaw ready. Which, once again, whoever is, and this is definitely not a surprise, and I'm assuming not even a surprise for him. It's a developmental stage. Now, I gave a lot of credit to Tanner Holmes when me and Joe were live, and he was doing very badly at Eldora, and I'm like, well, this is a part of it. You got to get out there and take the licks. You know, at least he has laps now at Eldora and Williams Grove and some of these challenging facilities and tracks that he never had went to before. So it's a part of the development. But as far as Tanner Holmes being a Mahomes, I do not think that is the case anymore. Now, maybe if I say this, it'll piss Tanner off and he'll go out there and shut the world up. Maybe he needs that hype. I don't know. But I feel it is right at this point, if I was going to rub it in my opposer's face when Tanner Holmes was performing well, I think it is also fair to admit that my face is somewhat being rubbed in that arrogance to act that way, because it just seems like the realities of Tanner Holmes' ceiling, at least for his career currently, have come out onto the track in the last several weeks. So, just some thoughts, some comments on the Tanner Holmes deal. It does not look like the ship has sailed, but it definitely looks like the wind is not blowing as hard as it once did. Man, that's hard to think about. This weekend will be interesting. 3 days at Port Royal. He is confirmed to run the Tuscarora 50 that is rescheduled for this Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, the Outlaw events. It's going to be a great week of racing at Port Royal. And it'll be interesting to stay tuned to see. Maybe he'll turn it around and knock one out of the park. We'll see here. Now, something I did want to talk. I did want to end on a late model topic. We almost had a special guest on the show today that did not pan out, but we potentially might hear coming very soon. Hopefully we can get him by the end of the week. But Brandon Overton, and I talked about this on the show prior to the weekend. This race, this weekend, or Saturday night, when I talked about Saturday, the chase for the championship in the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series was on its grandest stage that they could ever hope for. Final race before the Final Four cutoff, and you had 3 guys with a chance to win the championship. And then the dramatic, when Brandon Overton slowed down on the track and pulled off the racetrack, apparently due to power steering. Now, we've all heard older racers, at least in the sprint car industry, joke about people and their power steering and how, you little boys couldn't handle it if we were out there. Yeah, we didn't even have power steering. You heard, I'm sure the late model crowd, the modified crowd, we didn't have no damn power steering back in the day. What's wrong with you people? But and that doesn't look good for Brandon Overton in that aspect because he's sponsored by the CrossFit or whatever. So I guess CrossFit couldn't pan out for 10 laps for, I think Dirt Tracker says like $20,000 swing here. So that he lost by not making that Final Four, and potentially 100 and something thousand because the championship could have still been his potentially if he figures things out by Eldora. Because they're going to run 3 nights, points reset, and whoever does the best is going to be the damn champion. Now, at the end of the day, something that I watched Dirt Trackers doing this, it is a pretty interesting thing that Justin pointed out, that on Friday, really, the championship was basically thrown out the window by a out of the nowhere decision. And this shit happens, quotation, should have been for the Friday night event. Apparently, Brandon Overton and team, they are a Wells Motorsports, Longhorn by Wells Motorsports 76. It's been that way for a couple years now, and he was dominating Eldora a couple years ago. That's what it was, Longhorn all the way. Apparently, they came out with a Team Zero Bloomquist car at Raceway 7 and tried to hot lap and qualify with it and run the heat race with it, and it was just junk, so they switched over to the regular car, started deep, and had to climb through the field. Now, I guess some people are saying that really doesn't matter. I guess that's what he's kind of saying, it doesn't really matter. But once again, does this just go back to sponsors versus performance on the racetrack? Like, why would you make such a choice, such a switch, right before a championship deciding weekend? Like, you don't see that anywhere else. I don't think anyone would have ever done that. I don't think NASCAR, I don't think Kyle Larson's about to switch from Chevy to Toyota to try to make it into the round of 8 or 4 or whatever they're going into. So that's very weird. I don't know if they were just, maybe this championship's just so new that they lost touch with the importance that they needed to just run consistently for 2 nights and then think about switching things up for Eldora with the potential $200,000 payday and a championship. But a big mistake, and maybe this is more karma, if you're going to ride that Bloomquist train, the one who just smash and dashes and bashes Ricky Thornton, things like this could happen to you. Karma is real. Karma is real. Karma is also God, but with all these, new people of the world, Taylor Swift and things, karma is real. So that was just a big mistake, a huge mistake to experiment on a weekend where you really just needed to run consistently for 2 nights straight. Unfortunate for everyone involved there. Even Overton. I like Brandon Overton. I mean, the droop rule, the car didn't hike as much, droop a please, but it was still extremely exciting. This championship chase, man, I was watching it Saturday while I was out at a distillery, actually. Had a great night the other day. And I could not stop watching this main event. Watching Moran right there flirt with getting up in there into Overton, and then McCready right there as well. And it was being raced out before the issues happened with Overton. Overton had the advantage, but it wasn't by much. If Moran hit a groove or did this or that and somehow was able to get up there and challenge for the win, or Overton makes a mistake and falls back a few spots, I mean, maybe Overton and Moran get into it and fall back a few spots. McCready passes them and gets a few spots on them. I mean, it was extremely exciting. I have not been that excited to watch a 5/8 mile dirt late model race. I don't think ever, because usually tracks that are that big are just boring to watch. But it was insane how intense and how much attention you had to give that A main if you cared about the Lucas Oil situation at all in the championship. So I think that this chase, even though it, once again, if Ricky Thornton Jr. doesn't win it, it is a travesty for that's the nuke button to the whole idea, is if Ricky Thornton Jr. doesn't win the championship. But as far as attention, as far as must see, as far as hype, I mean, as far as just build up, as far as moment, this chase for the Lucas Oil Championship deal is pretty badass. And now we're going to Eldora, and a Lucas Oil Late Model Championship will be the hot topic button. It will be what everyone is talking about. And that's pretty much all I got to say. I mean, we could check the chat here. Hold on. Oh, it's all blocked out. Hold on just a second. Maybe old Paul Clayton got in here. Maybe we're about to set up something here. Let's see here. Dirt Dauber video's in here. Apparently he's going to get me, it says. No one ever said Tanner Holmes was outlaw already. We got some comments on that. How many other drivers besides Tanner Holmes on the current Outlaw Tour haven't won this year? What's Blaney right about? Blaney is right about not abusing your race car just because you win a race. His dad sacrificed a lot for Ryan. Why you go that way with it? I just don't like people who get somewhere based on their last name. I like people who kick ass like football and everybody else that get to the NFL because they're better on the field than someone else. Not because their daddy owns the team and not because their brother knows this guy and all that, and that's how you get there. I like people who perform and outperform and just go. I don't like guys running 4th and 5th in national events and they get promoted versus the guy who's running 1st and 2nd, don't have any damn money, and they don't get promoted for beating the guy. That's not how it works in merit-based sports. That's the biggest issue in racing, is people who perform do not get upgraded. And that is kind of the area where some people against Tanner was saying, like, there's other guys out there with a little bit more credibility in the results department to deserve that ride. Regardless, we are going to have some callers call in. Hold on just a second. Let me get this caller. We got one commenter coming in, and I think it's going to be a good one. I believe it's Spike that is going to be calling in here very soon. 216496. Hold on. Let me see if this caller graphic is set up. That is the call number. We are doing live calls right now. If anybody wants to bitch at me, you want to yell at me, call me a fucking idiot live on the show, this is the time. That is the number to the top right of the screen. The line is open. We will be waiting for our live caller instantly. Let's see it. Where are you at? I'm waiting for the caller. Mystery guest 101. We've only been on here for about 38 minutes. We are planning to continue. If we can get a caller, we just need one. Maybe somebody said it's not working. Hold on, let me try resetting it. We are reading the chat as well. Let's see. I just reset the caller deal. Maybe not. Maybe we shouldn't do the caller. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that is the problem. But we do have it up on the screen. Oh. Well, that's screwy. That's not right. Looks like it's been changed here. Okay. So, I had to actually get a new number put on. So, we'll just see if we can get, sorry, we're doing some live action here on the fixing of the screen. Sorry about that. We actually do have a new number. So anyone who did call on that one, it is not going to work. Once again, if you got your chat and you want to put it up there on the screen, go ahead. We're probably going to be doing these live every day at noon. So if some of y'all want some questions, go ahead and put them in the chat or send an email. Obviously, I got all the socials as well. Long live the Chaz or the Chaz to contact me directly and submit some questions. If you want to put some on the side, that's fine as well. Just put the new number up. So hopefully we can get this caller to call in. And I'll actually just put this in the chat if people want to give it a call or at least try to call. We'll see here. So just put the number in the chat if you want to call in and comment on what we've been speaking about here. Trying to get it to come in. Maybe it's not going to work. Huh. That would suck. Also, channel membership. Oh! I think we got a caller. Do we have a caller in here or no? Hello?
Hello.
Okay, so you are calling. Who do we have on the line here?
This is Spike.
And what's happening? What do you got to say?
Hey, I'm in agreement with you. These guys cherry picking your comments. They do the same thing when I comment on Dirt Tracker. So I don't get where the adult male discussion can't be a thing anymore. You know, it's really a weird thing. So
why is that? Do you think that racing suffers from short man syndrome? Is people in racing basically the people who weren't tall enough or big enough to compete in basketball and football and other sports, and this is where they went? I know that sounds bad to like maybe a Rico or something, but that's kind of what he said he got into the sport for. But is that kind of like the situation for all these other people as well, regular people in the sport?
I don't think the fans are, because based on when you look around the stands, it's not people that are physically unable or anything like that, or else they're obviously disabled or something. It seems like they're all able-bodied, and some of them grown-ass men. So I don't get where for example, the one thing I posted, I said in the outlaw features, the majority of the features, it starts, the front row has been always winning. I said it's probably about 80% of the time. Maybe Dirt Tracker can do some kind of a stat on this. And a guy replies and says, well, you say it's every time, every race, and it's not every race. I said, I never said it was every race. I said, it seems like it's every time you watch, they're winning from the front row. It's probably about 80%, but they cherry pick that one little statement. They will go off on you over it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Why do you think they're doing that? Do you think they want, like, I experienced that with like the Larsonites, and people were ready to die for Kyle type deal, just from saying, I think other people could be as good as him with the same monetary investments that he got at a young age in life. But they would rather just because I say that, you're a hater, you're a piece of shit, fuck you, go to hell. Do you think that they're just coming at you because you're criticizing sprint car racing and they see you as the enemy?
Yeah, it's sprint car racing, because late model fans actually have the ability to discuss and have logic. I guarantee that Paul guy, he's probably a sprint car fan. I doubt that he's actually a real late model fan.
No, he's a late model guy. But he took what I said. Look at what he did.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Can you believe that he did that, though? Did you see what he put on Facebook?
Well, there's people that have a crusade against you, obviously, so they're going to cherry pick every little statement, but, to try to get people pissed at you, I think they're hoping that they can get someone to rough you up or something.
Well, not just rough me up, but just not like me, because they don't like me, so they want other people to not like me either.
Well, I suppose. I mean, I don't understand the insecurity because now, do you feel that drivers have as much insecurity as the fans do?
I feel like it's almost the same difference between the late model and the sprint car example with the fans. Like, I think that the kind of culture of sprint car racing is to be more offended.
Okay.
Like across the board.
Is that because they're all been, since age 4, been begging and pleading?
I think it's a short man deal.
Keep going?
I think it's a short man syndrome deal. I think it's people who are, just offended by anything, and they got to be bigger than what they are, And if they could strap into a sprint car and be successful, they get the, acknowledgement of that they're bigger than they are. So they don't want that to be touched.
I think it's just the anxiety of their lifestyle. I mean, from 5 years old on, you're being sponsored by so-and-so company, and mom and dad said, you need to go up to that old man and thank him, and you better make better be top 10 or your ass is going to get kicked and, all this stuff. I mean, the anxiety that these kids got to have growing up in this, and then obviously once, like a Tanner Holmes, he's got the opportunity and whatever, if he's in his head a little bit now or what. But, I mean, the same thing kind of happened to Ryan Timms when he crossed over at first. He had a hot streak, and then he kind of went through a valley. So is it all psychological, too?
Now, do you think that they should I think that they should restrict the age. I think there should be new age restrictions on dirt racing. I think you shouldn't be allowed to race in a full size. I think 410 and super late models should be protected until 18 and up.
Oh, I think there wouldn't be a problem with that. I mean, there isn't that high a stress on a kid. I mean, imagine the PTSD these kids got from being 5 to 10 years old, and you're running a car that's got $100,000 of sponsorship on it or wherever the hell it is, at these midget levels or something. I mean, that's got to be driving you insane after a while. Your folks are on your ass. Who knows who else,
Yeah, and at the same time, you have no social life at all.
No, that's the other thing, too. Well, that's the Danica Patrick syndrome. I mean, I got firsthand account of that when she dated Aaron Rodgers. She, I knew ladies in Green Bay, that's where I live, that she would call them every day, all day. And they were friends of her, that she'd run into girls at the gym, right?
Right.
They'd exchange numbers, and she'd want to hang out every day, all day. And they'd say, hey, we got families, we got careers, we got other things that we do. Oh, really? Yeah, well, what do you do? Well, I don't know, nothing. Well, don't you have friends? Well, no. I mean, I never even finished high school. I just off racing in Europe by the time I was 14.
Right.
So she had no concept of boundaries, social life. She had no concept that other people work, that other people have lives. I mean, it's just a bizarre-ass world.
Well, and then you also probably develop some kind of privilege out of that. You develop some kind of self-privilege because the only social interaction you're having is mainly with your parents, who are obviously going to be supportive of you, especially someone in that high of a monetary standard. There is some extreme scrutiny from parents of a wealthy background. I've heard horror stories of how strict rich parents can be. But then you don't really get to interact with anybody who isn't a fan of you. Like, the only people that are against you are maybe in a pit crew that doesn't like you and they're competition anyway, so they shouldn't like you anyway. So you probably get like a false, reality developed.
Well, and look at the people that succeed. I'm not saying necessarily on the racetrack, but I'm saying the ones that succeed in their own brand recognition and their own ability to create a name for themselves end up being the ones that maybe aren't that great, but they know how to communicate with human beings. And they got a line of, 200 people waiting in line to get their autograph and picture, and they actually are friendly. And the next time that person's in line, that driver goes, "Oh, hey, Jenny, how have you been? How's grade school? How's high school?" I mean, they remember them. That's big.
And
that's big when these drivers remember the fans.
Do you think putting an 18-year-old restriction on these more so bigger cars, like, I think the problem is, we could blame NASCAR for having too young of drivers, but what form of motorsports is developing those? It's not like they're grabbing these kids and throwing them into trucks and cups straight out of go-karts. They're using dirt. I've been saying that to develop these kids, but we're also responsible for that by allowing 14, 16-year-old people into these premier divisions.
Well, and this is a terrible analogy, but do you think that a girl that's been a prostitute since she was 14 is going to know when she gets out of it someday, she breaks out of the pimp life and she can be free now, right? Do you think that she's going to know how to communicate with men? Is she going to know how to communicate with a stranger? Is she going to understand how to make money honestly? No. Well, there's a parallel to that. If you're a 5-year-old on and till you're 18 and maybe till 30 and you're racing, anybody that shows you interest is a fan. You just say, well, are they going to buy a T-shirt? Are they going to sponsor my car? Who are they? What are they for me? What can I get out of them?
Yeah.
If it ain't nothing, well, shoot, get away from me. Get the 6-figure sponsorship guy up here,
Professional users.
Well, that's what it boils down to. And if you think about it, why are these kids, I was with you at a track one time, and I said, God, all these guys just seem like it's like a damn funeral. They're all so high-strung and depressed. And I said, this sucks. Like, I go, this ain't even fun. Like, the energy these guys are giving off sucks.
And that's just at a weekly event.
Yeah, and I can see where the IMCA divisions, for example, why a person as a fan is drawn to that, because you can show up, you got your favorite drivers, afterwards you're going to have beers with them. The next time you come, they might recognize you. The third time you come, they say, oh, how's work? How's the family? Now they're your friend.
I do think,
there's some value to that.
I think that, you're right. I think that there's an aspect to exclusivity, though. Not to the point where these people aren't adults, but if you want to take this sport next level, you got to make it to where you can't always see the driver. They had to hurl Taylor Swift out in a popcorn cart because at the Chiefs game last week because she's just too damn famous. But the reason she's so famous is because not everybody can reach her all the time.
Well, and that's the problem, though, is you're only popular, and this is a legit demographic, the dirt racing sprint car fan demographic. This is World of Outlaws did this study 10, 15 years ago, and they determined that their fan base is, right, well, it was about 40 to 60 at the time, so that means they're 50 to 70 now.
Right, my YouTube analytics is almost dead on the 25 and under.
Right, so
around
said,
4 to 7% female as well. Hell, I'm about to get the girl to do some salon hair makeup videos just to get a female audience on the channel.
Well, and why? That's a problem, because I would imagine and I don't know. I'm not a woman, and obviously I'm not looking at men in an attractive way. So
That's what
I
you
would
tell
imagine
us.
though that some of these drivers are attractive, right? Like some girls probably think some of these drivers are hunks, right? That they're good-looking dudes.
Right.
So there is the marketability of these guys. My God, some of the midget girls, they know what they're doing. They promote themselves, their abilities, but also their looks too. God bless them. They got to do what they got to do. So,
Yeah, but they're also in a sausage fest, so it's a little easier for them to be promoted based on attractiveness.
Well, absolutely.
When you go and look at a Haley
though,
Deegan post, it's like 45 to 60-year-old men on there commenting and liking.
Right, and then there's a situation where I said, what is the World of Outlaws doing to create new fans? And this was on Dirt Tracker because all his fan base is sensitive as hell. But and the guy said all the fans watch Dirt Vision and they know that this is happening and they know that this is going to go on and they don't, it was the discussion of the dash. That's what it was. I said the dash is meant for new fans to learn the drivers, who the big guys are, who the top hitters are, and see them more often than their heat in the feature.
All right, it's a
That's
promotional.
what the dash is for.
It's a promotional scheme.
And the idiot said, all the fans know who these drivers are. They see them all the time on Dirt Vision, and they see them at the tracks. Blah, blah. I said, dude, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You are under the impression that the only people in the stands are the ones that are fans already, and that there are nobody new in the crowd. That's the problem.
That is the problem. And I think the bigger problem is that people want to keep it that way. I think people enjoy it being off in the backwoods because they can do the things and get away with it.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever liked a band that was underground and then they made it on the radio and you hated them now?
That's what happened to
Because they
NASCAR.
would change, right?
That's what happened to NASCAR.
Yeah. Right. So here's the question. I went to Eldora, and this is during the time when Kyle was grounded, and he was
promotional scheme.
Promotional scheme. And it was the only time to see Kyle, and he was the NASCAR champ right after that. So people were coming out to Eldora to see him. And there was a man and woman and two kids that were sitting in the row. They were on the end. Seats 1 through 4. And, at Eldora, it's wooden seats with numbers on them. And I'm sitting next to guys that, I'm not kidding you, are probably 500 pounds. And this family rolls in, and this is I'm giving the long story so people understand could happen. They're Kyle Larson Build-A-Bears, every single one of them, from head to toe. Kyle Larson hats to socks to shoes to pants to shirts.
You see it at every race he goes to almost. There's at least one group.
And the guy's sitting there, and I'm squinched as can be, and there's two 500-pound guys next to me, and the dad goes, "Can you guys move down?" And I look down, and the number that I'm sitting on is right between my legs, and I go, "No, dude," I said, "this is it, man. This is all you get. Like, this is all you get in this row is this little sliver." And I said, "I can't move anymore. I'm right on my number, and these boys are big." And, they were just pissing and moaning. And it's like, well, do you want that? Do you want the Outlaws and dirt racing to become so big that you got all these asshole NASCAR fans wanting their bucket seats coming in? I mean, that's
or
the next
the
level.
facilities just need to increase. The facilities are not. What facility is actually set up for mainstream attention? None of them are. Maybe Knoxville, maybe Port Royal, maybe Eldora. You're giving an Eldora example. They're obviously not there yet. They couldn't handle 50,000 fans if they wanted to be there, could they? Or
No,
100 would destroy the facility.
What does Knoxville top out at? 20 at most? Not even.
Something. 20 something.
Yeah, so But the moral of the story is it doesn't matter if Kyle and the All-Stars team up, and my God, they could team up with every other. They could buy out the IRAs and the NARC and the MOA and you name it. They could buy out everybody. It doesn't matter, because unless these guys are getting national television exposure to bringing in new fans, that's why I say sprint car racing will be dead in 10 years, because, number one, I can sit at home and watch it on streaming. Number two, I can just pick and choose the 3 or 4 day weekends to go to. And number three, the fan base. Once you're hitting 50 plus, it's either going to be financial reasons, physical reasons, or ultimately mortality that's going to make you stay home. Or you're just wanting to hang out with your grandkids and not be on the road all the time.
Right. So 10 years, it's over. You're throwing the nuke down.
If they don't get on television and start embracing the opportunities like the TikTok and the YouTube and all of that, and really trying to make that go of that, and actually creating storyline, that's the thing too. Why do you think anyone that, for example, UFC, some people don't give a damn about UFC, but then someone will go, hey, the fight on Saturday, yeah, these two guys, they want to kill each other because the one guy, I guess, slid into the other guy's girlfriend's DM and thought, well, holy hell, I got to tune in and watch that, right? There's a storyline now.
Right. Well, I wanted to have a driver on here today because he has things he wants to say about another driver, but he didn't 100% back out because a sponsor said if he goes on there and says that he's going to lose a sponsor, but he kind of said that. Yep. People are losing sponsors. The money is what's controlling them.
The other problem is this, and this is my humble opinion, you just won $20,000. You just won $50,000, and you are showing no emotion, or you're basically criticizing your performance.
Right.
That doesn't do well for me. The other thing I think that is funny is, you ever see them when they do the dash and they have the little kid draw for them?
Yeah.
And the little kid, let's say the kid draws a 3 or a 4, right? Whatever. Mid-pack. And they say, oh, well, how's that feel? You got 4, you're starting 4th in the dash. And the guy goes, well, not at what we were wanting. I guess hopefully we can get things together and figure it out. My God, you just buzz killing every damn thing.
Right.
Just say, hey, I think little Timmy here, he got me 4th place in the dash, and we're going to move on up, and we're going to win this thing.
Right.
Get the hype going. Get the people behind you.
But they don't want hype. They don't want to rock no boats.
Well, you're starting 1st in the dash. Well, we got a lot of work to do. I mean, hopefully we can hold that 1st place spot because our car's been really slipping tonight. To hell with that. I don't want to hear about that.
Right.
I want to hear about, hell yeah, and I'm here for the people of Port Royal, and I'm going to kick ass tonight for you all, and the crowd will go wild,
Right. Why do they not want the crowd going wild? Why not?
Because they're all child trafficked race car drivers by age 5, and they're taught to shut up and kiss sponsor ass and don't give a damn about the fans.
Is that true?
Well, think about it. They go, well, hopefully we can do well tonight. We're starting 5th. We've been struggling this weekend, but I want to thank, and then they rattle off 75 sponsors.
Yeah. It's very vanilla. It's it's social awkwardness.
Right.
They just don't know what to do.
I mean, if there was a guy out there that would get up there and I'm not saying you got to get all outlandish, but my God, get up there and hype the people and make them believe that you're going to win. You will sell thousands of T-shirts, and you'll be the John Force of dirt racing.
Right. The closest thing we got is what? Tyler Erb?
I think Brian Brown does good interviews.
Okay.
I think he gets it. I think he gets it.
Nice. Okay.
Well, so that's my next question. Not taking too much of your time, but So is the Kyle promotion, right? The Kyle League, the Kyle and Brad Sweet connection, is that becoming the NIL where you're going to have, hey, there's the outlaw champion is, so-and-so. We'll say Logan Schuhart. He's the outlaw champion in 2024. But Brad Sweet's the high limit champion in 2024. And so-and-so's the IRA MOA champion. And so-and-so's the NARC champion. And is it just too oversaturated that championships just don't mean shit? And especially if these guys are just chasing the big money now.
Well, championships in sprint car racing has been a deal. Late models, it ain't meant nothing because it's all about events and money. So, somebody says T-Mez. I don't like how T-Mez does it behind the mic, personally.
Oh yeah, T-Mez is a good example of a guy.
But that's good. I mean, me not liking how T-Mez is behind the mic is exactly the type of reaction you want to get in this performance role. You either want to say something that people like, or you want to say something that people hate, and that's how you create your fan base.
Well, absolutely, like little Charlie Mefford. I mean, he is that guy. When I was down in Florence, and he is that guy.
Right.
He is that kid. Like the way he talked on that interview, he talks just like that. Just a little more tame version. When you're chatting with him.
Okay.
So I like that, Okay.
Well,
but no, what they need is national TV, and then the Dirt Tracker fans hate me for that. That wouldn't mean anything. Yeah, it would, because that's what created the 50 to 70-year-olds that are fans, are the diehard fans today of dirt track racing, is because they were on TNN, the National Network, CMT, the Outdoor Channel, all that stuff. You cannot just put a paywall.
Would you rather be on TV, or would you want to partner with, like, say, Disney Plus? Wouldn't you rather sign a deal that partners with Disney Plus or Amazon Prime than sign a deal with freaking the CHC network on channel 345?
No, because the apps are cycling. They're becoming fads, right? They're the new hot toy for a minute, and then another one comes
places
along.
like Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, that's not true. Peacock, I mean, why not that?
Oh no, I get what you're saying, but you still. If I go on Peacock, I'm searching for something that I want to watch that moment. I'm not looking for discovery, right? I'm not looking to discover something new.
So it's really not TV, it's just general promotion of the sport.
What's that?
It's really not TV. You're talking about just general promotion of the sport.
Yeah, I think that there needs to be an effort. I mean, whether it's they need to hire a major social media director who's going to get on YouTube, TikTok, Shorts, all those different things, right?
Right. They need a Jake Paul effect.
Yeah. Why do you think Tanner Holmes could finish last in every race and it wouldn't matter?
Right. Just like Haley Deegan does.
Because he's got the storyline that everyone loves to follow, and also you're getting the double toll money, and you hope that, say next year he finishes top 12, so then you get points payout. That's the other thing I was going to mention. If I'm working for a company, right, say I work in a factory and they're giving me benefits, right, and I'm getting 40 hours a week, and then all of a sudden there's a factory down the road that doesn't give me any benefits and doesn't give me anything, but they say, hey, that 40 hours, we'll pay you a little more than the place that's employed you for 15 years is going to give you. Well, I might jump on that, but then I lost my job at the place I was at that had the seniority, the benefits, etc. So unless you're a top 5 sprint car driver and you can win these big races, there's no value to go and leave a national touring series if they're going to give you enough incentives and money to make it worth your time.
Right, like a Bill Rose or a mid-pack team that's living on the incentives to be an outlaw driver and team, like a sides or something. It's only the winners. You're saying it's only the winners that are incentivized to go win big money.
Well, even the big time though, I'm talking. We'll just say, if you went up to a diehard sprint car fan, and you said, "Hey, do you know Brent Marks, for example?" They may not know who he is because he is a pick and chooser, but they definitely will know the Donnie Schatz and the Hodden Shields and the Logan Schuarts, the guys that are full-time outlaw.
Because they're an outlaw.
And because they have the brand recognition. They got the T-shirt haulers out there. They're the big stars.
All right, we got a response to you. It says, Rich Smith, he says, I totally disagree that sprint car racing will die if it doesn't get on network TV. I'm an old fart, and even I know that streaming is the future. Dirt Vision and Flow have it exactly right. Some people agree. I mean, Flow is definitely more capable, I think, because it is involved in other sports that can cross-promote, whereas Flow or Dirt Vision is just, it's centricated to dirt only. It doesn't have any cross-promotion to other forms of sport.
You've got to give people a free way of exposure.
Right.
That is a fact. Because think about it. If I told you that there's this awesome band and you need to hear them, and you said, okay, cool, let me hear them. You go, well, it's $20 to buy their album. And you go, well, I don't want to buy the album yet. I'd like to hear them first. Well, you can't.
Yeah. You can watch qualifying on YouTube.
Yeah, you get a 10-second snippet of their hit. That's it. That doesn't make any sense. You got to give people, and I'm not saying I say network TV because I'm old school. I mean a free way of reaching people so they don't have to go through a paywall. Whether that's social media, TikTok, Twitter, the shorts, or network television, whatever it may be.
Do you think the thing that's killing sprint car racing is lack of competition on the track? I just think that the racing isn't there like it is with the late models, Well,
the late models are the best thing going right now as far as actual real competition.
Like, there's not a pass for the lead sometimes in sprint cars. If a guy draws an 8 for the dash, he almost starts crying because he knows it's over.
I have challenged Justin from Dirt Tracker to do a stat on 2023 that the front row wins 80% of the time. And if I'm wrong on that, then just move it to top 3 then, we'll say.
I would say top 2 rows is probably in the 90 percentile. For the Outlaws.
And look what ends up happening. They have to do a double box where the leader is 4 seconds ahead of everybody, and the battle is 5th through 9th.
Yeah, and
right?
no one's really.
So
and since the stars ain't that big, 5th through 9th, think that it ain't really that important.
Right. So first place gets the focus. Second, third, and fourth, nobody cares until the podium because the Johnny Gibson ain't even mentioning them. All he's saying is, whoever, Kyle Larson's got a 4-second lead, and then, and 5th through 9th, we got a big battle between, whoever, Bill Rose and Logan Schuchart. It's like, oh my God, okay.
Whereas late model racing, they're 4 fucking wide every lap almost.
Well, and what I like is if you go and run it like an asshole in late models, you're going to blow your engine, you're going to burn out your tires. You got to have the long game when it comes to some of these features, and I love that.
Right. Comers and goers. There is no such thing as comers and goers in sprint cars.
Right. I love the long game where all of a sudden you see a guy just working through, and he started 20th, and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, he's in 3rd.
Right.
And next thing you know, he's battling for the lead, and you're like, this is cool.
Right.
you know?
Right.
And is it fun to see Kyle jump the restarts every time and just run away with a 5-second lead and damn near lap the whole field? Hell no.
Right.
And so that's my other thing is if high limit / all-stars is going to be Kyle and Brad competing every time and they're winning 80% of the features, that is going to kill them off quicker than anybody.
You think they're depending on Rico to give him a run?
I don't know, but I mean, I almost feel like you, Brad and Kyle got to not race.
Not all of them, at least, huh?
It just is not going to be. It's going to suck. Like as a fan, I mean, if
we're
people
going
hate
to be pushed to late
winning a
model
lot,
races. We're going to be pushed to late model racing even more.
well, I would hope, but I feel like a lot of sprint car fans would rather just not watch anything.
I do feel that way. They're arrogant. They're very small-minded.
Yeah.
It's either sprint cars or no cars. Or NASCAR. They'll watch NASCAR because Gold Trickle's in it.
I was at Eldora a couple weeks ago, and it was a parade. I mean, it was trash for the four crown. So Saturday, I went to Brownstown. Awesome racing. I mean, awesome.
Yeah.
And but what's interesting is when you talk to the late model fans, you know, I still have my Eldora bracelet on, right? Because I got a pit pass. They say, "Oh, you were at Eldora?" I said, "Yeah, I was there last night." And my God, they know everything about the sprint car guys, the midget guys, the non-wing USAC guys, you name it. They follow all of it.
Well, Brownstown is in Indiana, right?
Yeah, it's south of Indianapolis, yeah.
That might
Well,
have
what
been a
I'm saying, though, is
contributing
I've encountered that other places, too, where the late model fans follow everything, but late models, but they necessarily don't go to the sprint car shows unless it's nearby, you know.
But the other way around, you're saying it's not even comparable. The sprint car people are just snobs about it.
Well, I feel like if there's 100,000 to win sprint late model show at some of these sprint car fans' home tracks, they wouldn't go.
Yeah,
Perfect example, Houston and Knoxville.
Yeah, Port Royal, too. I mean, Port Royal has big late model races, and they barely fill the stands.
But, I mean, that's where the action is, in my opinion, is in the late models. And it's just kind of weird to me because, so, yeah, there's this bottom-heavy, or I'm sorry, there's this top-heavy excellence in sprint car racing where basically there's only about 5 guys that are really going to dominate. And that makes it tough. It really makes it tough.
Yeah, it makes it boring.
See, and I liked it when the All-Stars were on their own because I could go to an All-Star show and you have no comparison to the Outlaw guys, right? And you're sitting there and you're going, dang, I think, you know, whoever it may be, I think Zeb Weiss could win an Outlaw feature. And I think, you know, whoever else could actually win an Outlaw feature. Well, maybe at the time they would have gotten lapped. You know what I mean? You never know, right? There was quite a difference in ability at that point. But there's a certain degree of separation is a good thing. Just like when you go see your favorite college team, you're like, my God, they are kicking ass. Like, and in your mind, you go, man, I think they could almost match up with a pro team. Well, of course they couldn't, but in your mind, you're like, they're damn good, you know?
But sometimes the college games themselves are better.
There you go. So now I'm at an all-star event, and I can see a guy who's working from 15th, which Brent Marks and different guys have done many times, and moved all the way to the front, you know, and that's exciting.
Right.
You don't see the runaways.
Yeah, where the Outlaws is just after the dash draw is your finishing position. Most of the time. Well,
and don't you think that for these 10,000 to win features, the Outlaws do, that there's kind of an unwritten rule that
we're just trying to unload and load up.
Well, it's almost like once we've got the thing about 5-10 laps into the feature and we kind of got a feel for how everyone's running, let's just survive this.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a mutual, it's like a gentleman's agreement of let's just unload and load the car and collect the check.
Yeah, yeah, let's look good at the end of this, sell some T-shirts, and get the hell on to the next one.
Especially at the 10 grand ones. I would say that is probably fair to say. Especially the 10 grand ones.
Right. So why is a fan going to show up to the 10 grand?
Well, they're hoping to just trick them into thinking it's a show.
Well,
it's
and that's why I think when they started the season down south, that was brilliant. Because they had Talladega short track, they had one in Mississippi, they had a few offshoot tracks, and they sold out.
Right, they need to go to more southern tracks. If I was them, I'd open the whole next year. Florida, Alabama, all these tracks that Mississippi, Georgia, there's tracks over there that ain't seen sprint car racing, but they want to go to the honey hole of PA. They want to turn their back on California and go to PA for 2 weeks or a week or whatever and try to just siphon off the same fan base instead of expand.
Which is so foolish because the weather in PA is maybe a month ahead of Wisconsin. And March and April can be snow and rain and 30 degrees yet.
Right. And they paid for it this year. That's what happened.
Yeah. So why would you even do it?
I don't know. I get that the South can be cold and rainy too that time of year, but not as much as other areas, so... yeah,
I think they're missing the boat on that for sure, but whatever. I think I still love watching racing. I think it's awesome and everything's cool. I just think that if they want to keep getting bigger, they hired this UFC director that got the UFC app, the Fight Pass, put on the map, and he also helped the WWE Network and their app and all of that. So they obviously are bringing in a heavy hitter to take their app and their exposure to the next level. I would say
they need the only thing there. I hope that the Outlaws are about to play a big card and we're partnering with ESPN, or something. They need that type of card to be played right now to compete against this high limit Larson momentum.
Well, exactly, and that CBS Sports Network or whatever they're on means nothing.
Right, it's junk.
That's a throwaway channel.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'd rather see, World of Outlaws on ESPN Plus or Disney Plus or Amazon or Peacock than I would CBS Sports Network.
Yep.
So, alrighty then. Well, it is. Right, though. It is past hour 20. I was hoping to only keep it an hour, but I guess thanks for calling in. We may have you on more this week, I guess, right?
Yeah, we'll see. If I got free time at work, we'll chat it up. So.
Alrighty. That was Spike, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for calling in. We are going to wind her down now. I want to thank everyone for tuning into the topics. We'll be developing some shorter topic clips throughout this way with this entire video. And like I said, hopefully be able to go live at noon tomorrow. Try to get some topics to... Oh, maybe we got a caller. Hold on. Who the hell is it? Who is calling now? It looks like we got a back ender. Somebody who answered and they didn't call or didn't talk. But regardless, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do one of these one a day, noon to 1, something like that. Get more people calling in, more people chatting, more people talking, and then develop and make little bitty short clippets out of everything. Somebody said Holmes will be back in the family car next year. Hopefully. I mean, that'll be fine as well. I do think that maybe the hype was a little bit too much for what the results are showing now. As always, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like and comment on the video, share it around, join the channel memberships. That would be really cool, trying to build that up as well. and maybe get to the 10,000K mark by the end of the year. We're only like 800 away. We could probably do more than that. We'll see, especially if we start going live every day at noon. Also, be sure to get the Long Live the Chaz hats. This is the other style, the camo black, kind of drape out right there. You know, it's really, really good look. I got nice shirts to go with it. LongLiveTheChaz.com to get all the merchandise that you may need. And pay attention to Monday Night Football tonight. It could be interesting. It could be good. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you next time. And as always, be sure to subscribe.
We can ride high, we can ride low, we can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best or we can be the worst, we can be the best.